Hi everyone, Jason Rasmussen here, and I wanted to give you guys a quick tip about exlights and especially your FSEQ files. Now, you probably have a lot more sequences than I do at this time, but as you can see here, my sequences, FSEQ files, they're taking up about 530 megabytes on my SSD right now. And that eats up a whole lot of space on my 250 gigabyte SSD. You're increasing your write times to your SSD, which could delay the life or shrink the life of your SSD. And you have all these sequences, it's taking up all this space. What are you going to do about it? So let me show you a nice feature. This applies to Windows, and if you have a drive that is formatted with NTFS. This is a feature that's been around a very, very long time. It is completely safe to use, and as long as you're running any kind of modern PC built within the last 10 years, you're going to have no problem running this. In fact, I'm doing this on a 10-year-old computer, and it runs just fine. So let me take my largest file right here, and I'm just going to right-click on this, go to Properties, and if you go under the Advanced, I'm going to select this one option here. Compress contents to save disk space. So what this does is this is a feature built into NTFS, and it will do a very light, very fast compression on the files, and this works best with files that are easily compressible, and the FSEQ files are very easily compressible. And whenever you do this, it is completely transparent to the program. The program doesn't know any difference on this at all. So I'm going to hit OK to that. Notice it's 150 megabytes. Let me hit OK. It's going to do a quick compression on that. Hit OK again. Oh, there it is. And it's still showing 150 megabytes, but if I look at the properties, it's only taking up 11 megabytes on my drive. Now you want to make sure the exlights is closed before you do this, because it won't be able to compress the file or uncompress the file if the file is actively in use, so I don't have exlights open right now. But only 11 megabytes for that file now. And if I open up exlights and I read and write to this file, it's not going to know the difference whatsoever. So let me go ahead and do these other files. I'm going to do these all at once. I'm going to go to the Properties. 381 megabytes on the disk. So let me go to Advanced, compress these. Let me apply this. Remember, this is a 10-year-old computer. It has no problem doing this. Very, very fast. The other thing to keep in mind is in some cases, this may actually improve the speed of your read and writes, because instead of reading and writing on a 150 megabyte file, when it's really only 11 megabytes, I mean, it may increase your speeds. In my case, I really don't notice any difference in the speeds, but I mean, I use this in system administration all the time, and in some cases, it could be faster. If in your case it makes your writes or your reads a little bit slower, you can turn this feature off. But in most cases, especially on a modern PC, you're not going to notice any difference at all. So it shrunk all those files down to 43 megabytes. And so if I look at all my FSEQ files, only 50 megabytes when all of them together total would have taken up 531 megabytes. Now, a couple of things to note about this is if you delete this file, it's going to go back to the normal uncompressed state. You can actually see the status, see that little blue on there. I'm running Windows 10. I know with other versions it may, the file name may show up as blue, but you can always just check the properties and go under Advanced, and you can see if it's compressed or not. The other thing is this only applies to NTFS partitions and where it's located now. So if I copy this file to a different drive or to a flash drive or over to DropBox, it's going to be the regular full-size file. So something to keep in mind. So if you have any questions, let me know. But this is a great way to save a ton of space, possibly increase your speeds, and help maximize the life on your SSD if you're running this from an SSD. So hope that was useful, and good luck with your Christmas.